Hi, I'm Breanna Stott. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And for work, I'm a financial planner and wealth manager, and I actually own my own company. My company is called Finwell, and we started as a financial wellness company, so that way we can serve all people, not just the ultra high net worth. And so we educate, we advise, we inform, and we help people reach their financial goals. Nashville has become a community of locals and transplants. And what's great about that is everyone's excited to meet you and invite you to things and ask about you. It actually took about 6 months before people asked me what I did for a living here. To foster that community here in Nashville, it's continuing to spread that culture and not changing. So when people move here, welcoming them to the community, and if they enjoy that experience, hopefully they'll keep doing that as well. And one thing that is known here is people aren't really in competition. Everyone here helps everybody, which is great. And there's a lot of musicians and recording artists. And instead of feeling like you have to protect your network, you actually invite other people into it and you help each other and you're actually excited for one another. I actually started in banking when I was 19. So I worked my way up. And after being in the industry for a really long time and seeing the way that the industry worked, I had an idea of creating a company that would be more open to helping everybody. I just felt like my own friends and family weren't getting that quality fiduciary advice. Their options were more salespeople. And so I had the idea when I lived in California and when I was working for the major institutions. And I then fostered that idea while attending Pepperdine, getting my MBA. And then I launched in 2017 as first an employer provided benefit. So employees could get access to financial education, financial advice, and financial planning. And from there, I actually expanded into the wealth management side as well. So we work with institutions and their employees, and then we also work with individuals and their families from all sides of the wealth spectrum. I learned about Good Party Academy through Instagram, and I started reading about the Good Party and really sort of connecting to the vision and the values of the program. And politics have always been something I've been interested in and somewhat involved in. So their message resonated with me and I decided to reach out and get involved. I think I've always liked to hear different ideas and have an opinion on them and think about any sort of changes that can help people. And when looking at different policies, I do an analysis of who is this going to help and who is this going to hurt. And then it's just something that my logical brain loves. And then I love to explore ideas with people and get their buy-in. And I've been that way since I was a child. I actually ran for school president in elementary school and I won, which is surprising because I was really introverted, straight A student, really quiet. But I found that using humor was a way to resonate with the crowd. Growing up in Southern California, I feel like I was more influenced by the liberal community, arts, helping one another, creating social programs that help those that might need help at certain times of their lives. But I would dive into different policies, and I was never driven by the party's nominations. I would always look at what that individual's visions were and what their ideas were. So although I've always leaned more liberal and on the Democratic side, I have definitely voted for Republicans. I just think now, at this time, with everything being so divided, I can't find a home. And so I've realized I'm definitely more moderate. It depends on the policy and what the ideas are and the why. And then I will make a decision from there. So being an independent right now makes the most sense for me and a lot of people I know. I started to not feel at home with the two major political parties during the Clinton-Trump presidential run. And it really felt like you had to go far in one direction, whether it's right or left, in order to have a home. And I didn't feel that either candidate represented the people of the United States. I didn't feel like they represented me. And it started to become something that was who can get the most attention and who can win ultimately for the power and less for the people. And so from there, I started to look at alternatives. And I really wished we had some individuals in the primaries, even on the Republican side, that could have made it farther along, because I identified more with their policies and their ideas as well as their experience more than I did with the ultimate Republican choice and previous president. I think if we stopped focusing on getting attention and started diving deeper into policies and what each candidate would prefer, and again, who would help and who it might hurt, that would be more insightful to the communities. Right now, it just seems like an attention grab. So say the biggest, loudest thing, get a lot of media attention, and then people know who you are and you're more likely to win the position. It feels more like a reality TV show at this point than it does an actual election, and it's really unfortunate because there's great candidates out there that are just not getting the attention, and so we don't even know that they exist, and we're unable to hear what they would actually do that might be helpful to the local communities. There's something that, in the entertainment industry, there was a new song released by Jason Aldean as an example, and there is a lot of attention on both sides of people sticking up for the song and saying that they really identify with it. And there's a lot of individuals saying that the song might spread hate. And it's so interesting because there's been many songs in history that have said politically jarring things, but it hasn't gotten this much attention, I don't believe. And again, it's different communities pulling the reality strongly in one direction or another, when really, if you listen to the song, in my opinion, we've been saying some of these things as different communities for a long time. And you can choose to think of it as being more radical, or you could choose to think of it as, a local community singing a song using the terminology they're used to without it being a hateful message. I think the Good Party Academy has been great because it's informative and it's a safe space to ask questions, meaning you don't feel like you're going to be treated like you're stupid or inequipped or you don't belong here. And it's a good place to go if you've been thinking about running for office, you're curious about it, or if you want to be supportive of those that will run that are different than the two-party system. There's a lot of individuals in the Good Party that have participated in politics, and so they have really good insight of the reality of running and what you need to do in order to become a great candidate and potentially win. And there's a lot of resources there too, from a tech side, support side, and so I think it's a great place to start and win. The question I had is, what does this really look like from a time and work perspective? Sure. As an entrepreneur and a first-time entrepreneur, I could say it was the hardest thing I've ever done and the most rewarding is starting a business, but the ignorance allowed me to do it. If I had all the information, I don't know if I would have started my company. However, now that I have, I'm like a serial entrepreneur and I'm excited to do it again. I know it's hard, but I know I can do it. So going through the Good Party Academy reminded me of being an entrepreneur and starting and running a business. The difference is you are the business. You're selling yourself to the community of being the best candidate for the job, but the same things are there. You need the time, you need the expertise, you need a team. You need to have a strategy and execute on that strategy and have your marketing in order so that way you can spread your message, get known by the community, and get their votes. I think my skills from my career definitely apply when running for a political position. First and foremost, most of my job has been with dealing with people, being patient, seeking to understand them, asking open-ended questions, and seeing the world through their perspective. And so that was the first part of my job, is being good with people and trying to understand them and being empathetic of their situation. The second part was more of the academic aspect of then knowing what to do. So that looks at things like the economy, that looks at things like what's the current sentiment of where things are going, because a lot of things are human behavior. And then applying that to the individual and helping them. And so when it comes to the Good Party Academy and learning those tools and then the reality of running, I felt like there was a strong parallel to what I do currently and what a candidate would be doing for the community. I think it was a great experience for me to be ready when and if I make a move for a political position. Right now, I am definitely still growing my company, and it's been really rewarding. I've learned a lot, and it's taught me to be patient, resilient, as well as positive in believing that I can. And I think that's really important too when looking at the parallels of running for political office. Believing that you can make change is a necessity. Otherwise, you would come into the role in a pessimistic state, because you can easily do that with everything that's going on. So you would need a candidate that's resilient, that has thought things through, and ultimately believes that the future is bright in order to keep going and to make change. I had a property in California, and there was an incident related to it, and ultimately through my discussion with the Los Angeles City Department, I ended up in front of City Council, which I've never even thought about. I knew it existed, but I didn't even know what they did. So I had to present my case in front of City Council, and I had to provide evidence and give them information. And my experience wasn't great because I didn't know what their job was. And I only had, I think, 3 minutes, and then I got cut off, which was really frustrating because it's hard to tell someone an entire story with evidence in 3 minutes. So from there, I did some more research. I better understood who they are, what they do, and where these individuals came from and how they were elected. So it really sparked my interest in potentially running for local office and even starting at that city council level. A lot of the individuals in city council are just focused on local community needs, and they're not really party driven. And that was really interesting to me. And I think that ultimately, if I ran, I have a lot of good insight from being a small business owner, a property owner, someone that went through the public school systems, and ultimately had to put myself through college one way or another. I think I have a lot of insight relative to different types of issues. I'm excited to participate in the Good Party because of the vision, the values, and ultimately what you guys are doing. If that's just me being a support system through introductions or making sure I'm voting for the right candidates and following the Good Party candidates, then that's what I'm gonna do. I think there's a lot of different areas of opportunity when collaborating and providing resources and insight. All of us have so many different talents that aren't utilized. And if you're passionate about politics, and if you're passionate about change in your community and making sure that they're being represented above money, then you should get involved and be able to share those talents and qualities that you have in any way that you can. My name's Breanna Stott, and I am a Good Party Academy graduate.